And here we are back with episode 14 of G-Witch. People had issues with them going back to wacky woohoo happy school duel time after episode 12's cliffhanger. After episode 14, that's done, at least for now. We had more death, betrayal, and questions answered this time around, and honestly I'm pretty hyped to talk about it. This recap video will address quite a few things, so let's get into it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. The first thing getting into this episode is continuing the conversation between Prospera and Miorine about Quiet Zero. Miorine said she doesn't want to be a substitute for the plan in place of her father, but Prospera reveals that the originator of the Quiet Zero isn't Delling, but her mother. This surprises Miorine, and Prospera asks how much she knows about data storms. Miorine replies that it's the source of the Gundam's curse, with Prospera saying that for humans it is, but that otherwise data storms form a hyperdense information network different from other types of networks. This is what allowed Gundam Ariel to override her opponents during the duels. So we learn that the Quiet Zero project is a network concept that can use data storms to control any system via the permit links, with Ariel being the trigger to activate it. Seems like Delling and Prospera want to make a world without conflict and loss through the absolute control Quiet Zero can achieve. To help Delling with this, Prospera sent Suletta and Gundam Ariel to the school. In addition to this, she also made Suletta's dream of going to school come true, but the ethics of this are questionable at best. Prospera said the school was the best place to optimize Gundam Ariel, and that things were going fine until the attack at the plant. And as it turns out, Quiet Zero was mostly kept between Delling and Prospera, with the group at large not being aware. Miorine asks if she's afraid of leaking the plan herself, but Prospera doesn't seem concerned about it. We then cut to the open campus event, with Earth House trying to sell goat's milk. It's, not going well. The students are also talking about Nika, who is covering up the little incident from last episode with Sophie and Noria. They comment about her always hiding things from them, which is true. Suletta is with Nika, asking about what happened at the hangar. Nika again tries dodging the question, saying it'll just bring more trouble. We learn a bit about her past, that she's an orphan and spent a lot of her time tinkering with things, which explains her affinity for mechanics. And like Suletta, had always wanted to go to school. She had taken a liking to Suletta because both of them were new to the school. Nika leaves saying that she'll take care of everything herself. Shortly after, Suletta gets harassed by Elin again. He gets a little pushy trying to figure out why she's been avoiding him, but Sophie bonks him with a Haro, which was pretty funny. Sophie and Noria bail Suletta out, and Noria has a bit of back and forth with Elin, saying he's idling his life away at the school. We then cut to Sophie and Suletta, with Sophie saying that Elin was bothering Suletta and that he creeps her out. Sophie goes on to tell Suletta about her stake in the previously agreed upon duel, with Sophie simply wanting Suletta to really become her big sister. Suletta goes on to say that she made a promise to Miorine to never lose, and that she'll win no matter what. Sophie then comes to the brilliant idea of killing Miorine to see Suletta like she was during the attack at the plant. Before Suletta has a chance to respond, the rumble ring announces it's about to start, telling all participants to head there. Cecilia is the one announcing for it this time, since Elin is participating in the rumble ring, which is a 30-minute battle royale duel. Same kind of rules, break the opponent's antenna to eliminate them, but last unit standing wins. Everyone can participate, but we only get a handful of contestants. Lauda in particular is gung-ho about taking down Suletta. Also, instead of Delling witnessing it, Sarius is substituting in, to his own surprise. Participating in the rumble ring in order of appearance are Sabina Fardine and Renee Costa in their Hindries, Felsi Rodo and Lolda Neal in their Delanzas, Choo Choo in her Demi-Trainer, Elin in the Gundam Faract, and Suletta in the Gundam Ariel. There's also a bunch of fodder that only seem to care about Suletta, so they decided to ally themselves until she's down. Elin helps Suletta with the mooks, and asks for some private time in return. While it's supposed to be a battle royale, there's a few groups at play, either fighting against Suletta specifically, or amongst themselves trying to get to Suletta. Lauda himself is the most aggressive towards Suletta, saying that she's only been a problem since she showed up. Now, at this point, we're halfway through the episode, and this is where things turn up to 11. Sophie and Noria both show up in their Gundams, and everyone knows about them from the plant attack. Sophie is mainly there for her duel with Suletta. However, this isn't a normal school duel. There is software and regulated power restrictions put in the mobile suits to reduce the destructiveness and make it overall safer for the students. The students also don't aim for the cockpits. The Gundams Lefrith, and Thorn don't have these restrictions, and Sophie pretty much near kills Lauda immediately. Everyone is shocked by this, with Sarius asking why the terrorists are there. Nika calls the front management company to confess about Sophie and Noria, but Hanao intervenes the phone call, saying she can't act selfishly behind Shadik's back. This implies that Nika has been working with Shadik, and to an extent the Dawn of Fold. Cutting back to the rumble ring, Suletta realizes that Sophie is the pilot of the Lefrith. Sophie starts with shooting around the ring, showing that they're using the full destructive strength of their Gundams, which we haven't seen in a duel setting, and it freaks everyone out. One of the participants gets straight up killed by Noria, and everyone decides to evacuate. Noria and Sophie go into permit score 3, and the real fight begins. Sophie brought her own Gund bits, which are basically unmanned mobile suits called Gun Vulvas. Think fin funnels, except they're mobile suits. As they're tearing the place up, they shoot a hole in the outer ring of the school, with Sophie and Suletta taking the fight out there. Sophie goes on about things she wants, which alludes to her not having that great of a life, and especially wants a family that will love her. Noria's fight with Ian also proceeds, with him refusing to increase his permit score to fight back. He mentions changing his face to stay alive, and that he isn't going to die. After this, it turns out that them showing up at the Rumble Ring was just to act as a distraction for Shadik's followers to take Sarius. The other Grassley House students are in on this, as the ones participating in the duel are pretending to fight, while others were detaining Sarius directly. With Sarius taken, Sophie and Noria's operation is over. However, Sophie isn't done with Suletta, and continues to fight. She makes Suletta question a lot about herself and Ariel, what she's fighting for, and that if Ariel isn't a tool for murder, why does it have all the weapons it does? Asking who made such a violent machine. This makes Suletta question why her mom made it. Ariel then creates a data storm, taking control of the Gun Vulvas, and crippling Sophie. We then go to Belmeria and Prospera finishing their conversation from earlier, about Ariel's true nature. Belmeria says that the Ariel can control space itself with the data storm and 11 gun bits. She remarks that Suletta is unaffected by the data storm, the so-called curse that the other Gundam pilots contend with, which is what Sophie is going through right now. Belmeria alludes to the gun bits being controlled by someone other than Suletta. Prospera tells Belmeria to come out and say what's on her mind. Belmeria mentions Ari, Prospera's other daughter, and asks where she is. From this conversation, we learn that Ari is indeed Ariel. Belmeria is disgusted that Prospera turned Ari into a mobile suit, with Prospera saying that Ari is waiting beyond the data storm, and that she's the future of the Gund format. The Quiet Zero project has Ari at the heart of it, to eliminate war and conflict, to rewrite the world to make Ari happy. After this, we cut back to Sophie and Suletta, with Sophie dead from the data storm, and Noria saying that she too will die of the Gundam's curse. But she questions why Suletta isn't affected by it, asking what she is. The episode ends with authorities looking for Nika, and taking the other Earth House students into custody. Suletta has some self-reflection and talks to Ariel, reassuring herself that Gundams are supposed to save lives, and that she protected everyone. She also still believes in her mom. So let's recap some of the major revelations in this episode. We learn about the true nature of the Quiet Zero project, and that Miorine's mother is the one that kickstarted this plan to begin with. It involves using the Gundam Ariel's data storms to take absolute control over other networks through its own hyper-dense information network. Through this control, they will eliminate conflict, kind of reminiscent of the Guns of the Patriots plan from Metal Gear Solid 4, a takeover of systems, though Quiet Zero is supposed to end war and conflict outright, and rewrite the world into a peaceful one with this control. Next, let's talk about Shadik. He was involved in the Plant Quetta attack, and has also orchestrated this attack to take Sarius. The other Grassley House students are in on this, with the ones participating in the Rumble Ring just pretending to fight, and the others taking Sarius themselves. I may have missed something previously, but I'm unsure if he hired Donald to carry out these plans, or if he's directly involved with the group itself. Either way, his coup d'etat may put him in control of Grassley defense systems, but to what end exactly I don't know. Like I said, I may have missed something, so let me know in the comments if I am. Lastly, we learn that Suletta is Ari's younger sister, and that Suletta isn't a clone like some people previously theorized. But we did know that Ari is directly integrated into Ariel, that much was obvious. While Belmeria was disgusted that Prospera did what she did with Ariel, from the prologue we know that it was most likely unavoidable given the data storm going directly into Ari. With this, the data storm is being fed directly into Ariel itself, being able to control the gun bits and space around it without affecting Suletta. Since Ari doesn't have a human body anymore, she is immune to the Gundam curse, and is able to protect Suletta from it. Also, Prospera may have had Suletta specifically to pilot Ariel. As they are siblings, Ari and Suletta would have a better bond, and therefore synchronize better as a pilot / some kind of AI system. Anyway, that's it for this video. Let me know what you thought about this episode in the comment section down below, and any other thoughts you may have. I'd love to hear them. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing for future ones. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.